Our first guest on the Rise today is a member of Canadian indie rock band from Edmonton called Faith Healer. Their latest album, The Hand That Fits the Glove, is debuting on our top 30 chart this week. And this afternoon, Jessica Jalbert is on the line with me now. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just enjoying the fall-ish weather. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, fall-ish. So, Faith Healer, tell me, what is its origin story? I'm kind of like, I was trying to find some stuff online and I was like, oh, I feel like there's like a legend behind how this band got together.
The legend of the band is not, I wouldn't say legendary really, but it started as a solo project. I had released an album under my own name in 2011, and that work was recorded with Rennie Wilson, who is a former slash part-time Edmontonian. And it's kind of both of our first forays, his first foray into like producing someone else's music and my first release. And so we worked on that together. We enjoyed the process. So a few years later, we worked on another album together, again, of all of my solo songs. And a few months before releasing that, I kind of felt I wanted to call it a band name. I didn't want to use my own name. And so I don't know. I think back then I thought, well, it's restrictive to use your own name. Like people think that you're making it, like singer-songwriter is weird as a genre because you can sing and songwrite a lot of different kinds of music, I guess.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I had some angst about that and I decided to call it under a name. And at one point, spending time with Rennie, we had talked about that name, Faith Healer, as a band name. We were like, that'd be a cool name. Like, there's no actual meaning behind it for me beyond thinking cool name.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah,
That's sufficient enough.
It's sufficient enough. It's funny because we do get a lot of messages from people who, and I have a lot of feelings about this, but we get messages from people often who are just like, I have gout. I need help. Like, what can I, like things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, I'm really sorry for deceiving you. We're just an indie rock band from Canada. We, unfortunately, I can't help you with any of your medical needs. So, but anyway, that's where that came from. And then following that 2015 release, we did another one 2 years later, again, working just with Rennie. And by that point, it was like, okay, it's always me and Rennie. We might as well call this a duo. And so we did. And so we put out an album again in 2017. I can't believe that was 6 years ago, but now we're back with another one.
It's really cool when you find, a recipe and a person where your creativity works together. And that's a very rare thing. And it's so cool that you've produced so much music together. So I'm guessing there's sort of a sense of freedom in familiarity, but also freedom in having more of a broader band name. What was sort of some of the inspiration for this new album, whether it's musical or otherwise?
It's a good question. One I should have an answer to. I think the inspiration behind doing an album in general was just like we really enjoyed the process, so we wanted to keep the momentum going. We toured pretty extensively after we put out Try in 2017, and then we just were like, let's keep this going. We're having a blast.
Yeah.
But the inspiration behind the album itself, I had to say it's really song by song. Like I'm not much of I'm a thinker, but I'm not a very linear thinker. And so I didn't have any kind of, unified thought that I wanted to get out there in the world or anything like that. I really just wanted to keep making these songs and pack and record them again. I just love that process and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And the experience is just something that I always want to have in my life. And so we just started writing some more. And once we got to spend some time together, we started recording again. So yeah.
Incredible. When is your next live show? Do you have some dates planned?
It's a good question. It's been such a weird thing. We do have a few live performances coming up in December, December 7th here in Edmonton, 8th in Calgary, and 9th in Lethbridge. So just Alberta at this point.
Super exciting. So December 7th, 8th, and 9th,
Yeah,
Edmonton, Calgary, and Lethbridge.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
mark your calendars. Come and check out Faith Healer. One last question. I would love to play a song for our listeners. Can you choose a song and tell them a little bit about it?
Sure. This is kind of a like sleeper hit, I'll say, hit in
Yeah.
quotes. But it is the album title as well, The Hand That Fits the Glove. I'm not
Okay.
sure what it is yet about that song. At first, I found it to be, when I was writing it, I was like, oh, this is so dreary. It just drudges along. It has no chorus. It's just a bunch of verses thrown together. But for some reason, I've started to think about it a lot more and it's endearing itself to me. I'm hating it less. So I'm trying to embrace that.
Yes.
So let's
Yes.
do that one. The Hand That Fits the
Okay.
Glove, title track.
Title track. I love it. And
Yeah.
it's funny when you are the songwriter and the you know, the creator of a piece of work. It's like you spend so much time with it that you're kind of like, ugh, like there's a
Yeah,
sense of
exactly.
but I hope that through this process of releasing this new album, you sort of get reacquainted with material and like sort of fall in love with the material that you've created, as listeners fall in love with it, because it's a great album. And
Oh, thank you.
yeah, I'm super stoked. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
And I look forward to hearing more from you and from the band. Definitely.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me, Dawn.
You're welcome. From the album The Hand That Fits the Glove, which debuts at number 19 on CKUA's Top 30 chart, this is the title track by Faith Healer.